Hello everybody, it's Whiskey River here, and welcome back to Path of Titans. And last week in Path of Titans, I played some Sucho, some Concavinator, some Mammuthus on the Apex Killers server, Megalania, a little PT Rex action, and an Apatosaurus. So I've got some clips and highlights of all of those experiences that I wanted to share with y'all, and I hope you enjoy. These first few clips are going to be on the Sucho. I've been really enjoying the Sucho. This is my go-to right now if I'm just playing by myself. It's even better if I can get a couple of friends like I have here to play with me. And I like to play this on Dynasty and also in Apex Killers community servers. It's pretty much vanilla stats on both of those servers. They've made no changes. And there's some minor adjustments on the other dinosaurs in Dynasty, and then in Apex Killers there's a lot of much better balancing that goes on there, but the Sucho performs extremely well in both servers and probably will perform very well in pretty much any server you play it on. I like to use the hook bite, that green icon that you have there, the hook snap. It's a bit tedious because you have to go catch fish. You've got to catch about 20 fish to build up the damage on it, but what that does is it gives you 20 hits with 50% extra damage output. And it's got a fairly quick cooldown, so I like to use that in conjunction with the shark bite, which does bleed. And I can alternate both of those two and get a lot of damage and bleed on my opponents, and it seems to be working really well. I use the backhand for the claw, and I just use that situationally. If I'm near the water, I use that to ambush and knock things into the water so that it burns their stam and it makes it hard for them to move around, and it makes it easier for me to kill them. Since the Sucho is a semi-aquatic, it's so much better in the water than most of the terrestrials. So that's how I've been using the Sucho setup, and I use the waterlogged hide, gives you a little extra combat weight. That helps you take less damage and do more damage. This turned into a pretty good 3v3. It's 3 large tier herbivores with these Iggies versus 3 large tier carnivores with the Sucho. So it's a really decent matchup. We were able to pick them apart a little bit and finally focus on that one and get the kill here in the end. This was a couple of Miragaia that I saw near the river's edge. Normally I don't really mess around with the Miragaia because I hate fighting them because of all their debuffs that they put on you. I see them going across my screen right now, and you get that negative health debuff, you get paralysis build up, and it's really annoying to fight them. Sometimes they do poison, so it can be very frustrating fighting them. But these guys were really like being aggressive and roaring at me and just not backing away, so I figured I'd try to knock one in the water and see if I could get a kill with it. Finally got into a good position where I could knock him in, and that's all I needed. Got a couple of ambushes on 2 Pycnos, 2 individual Pycnos here, 2 different ambushes. He was able to counter my knockback with his knockback there, so I couldn't keep him in the water, but I know he's expended his stamina at this point. This is where the extra combat weight comes in handy here. If you get forced into a face tank with another large tier, you know you have a bit more combat weight, so you'll be taking less damage and doing more damage. Just helps give you that little extra confidence when you're going up against another large tier. That knockback does quite a bit of damage too. In addition to knocking stuff back, it does more damage than I thought it did. These Utahs always want to attack me. I don't know why. There's a couple of clans that live up here, and I just assume hang out in the river and live in peace with these dudes, but they always like to harass me in Hunter's Thicket and Snake Gully. So I just get them to the water's edge, knock them in the river, and they can't really do much. This is the Concavinator gameplay, one highlight of our little adventures on the Conch. Conchs can be a lot of fun. They, as you probably know, they've had a TLC recently. And I like to use the terrestrial version of the Conch. They're both really good, actually. This was gameplay on Dynasty, and the terrestrial one is allowed to hunt. The semi-aquatic one is supposed to scavenge mainly and eat fish and stuff, and then it can hunt stuff that goes into its water source. But I like to explore the map and cruise around and see, especially on Dynasty where there's a lot of herds and a lot of players that spread out over the whole map. I like to play on things where I can go exploring and try to find the other players so that I can have some good hunts. We had been traveling around quite a while. This was like right at the end of the night. We were getting ready to log off, and we just happened to see this Torvo. So made for a really good hunt. I like to use the regular bite for my main spammable, and then the ripping kick gives you a secondary attack that does bleed. And then the slash claw does, that's your big damage dealer. You can use that to finish stuff off, get big chunks of alpha damage out. And the call that I'm using is the call that amplifies your bleed damage. On Apex Killers, my son Little Whiskey and my friend Coob decided to join me on the Mammuthus. I'd never played one of these before, so this is our first time playing one, or my first time playing one, me and Little Whiskey. Coob had some experience with them, so he kind of showed us the ropes, and we went out to Grand Plains to see what kind of action we could get. And one of the first things that happened is we got attacked by these Titans. The Mammuthus has a regular headbutt attack, does a lot of damage. It has a knockback, that's that second purple attack there that you see on the screen. And it'll knock them back and do a little bit of damage. The main massive damage dealer is that big stomp. It's very hard to land and very predictable, but if you land it, that's the most, it'll do a very high amount of damage to anything that you hit with it. If you can get something sandwiched like this between the mammoths, that's the best possibility. He's taking way too much damage right there. The call appears to be broken on the mammoth. It's supposed to give you more defense, but we tested it and it doesn't seem like you take any less damage when you have the call active as you do when it's not active, so I think that call is broken right now. But if you know anything about the Titans, they are one of the heaviest damage dealing carnivores in this game, and this is on the Apex Killer server, and they're super dangerous. And you can look at our health. We're just fighting 2 Titans, and they're almost dead. These mammoths also do bleed, by the way, with their tusks. So that one that's running off is bleeding. He's trying to get far enough away from us because we have a charge. And there you go. He bled out. He died. So he was trying to get far enough away from us to sit down, but he couldn't make it before he bled out. So not only do these do high levels of damage, but they do bleed too. So it's a very, very strong creature in this game. Here we got attacked by a couple of Gigas. This is a pretty decent threat to us as well. They've got the armor-piercing bite, and they're very maneuverable. And they've got bulldoze that this one's trying to use a lot of. And it doesn't really knock us back all that much, but it can do damage and help them take less damage when they're using it. And they also do bleed, of course, and their piercing bite just does the big amounts of damage. It ignores our combat weight and our armor. But if we can get them sandwiched like this, that's the only opportunity that we need to finish this. And that's it. Played a little bit of Megalania on the Dynasty server. I like to play Meg on Dynasty because it is a solo playable, so sometimes when I'm playing alone I'll pick up the Meg. It's something that's really fast, so you can explore around the map pretty quickly on this one, and they can hunt large tiers, so they can hunt one tier above them, which is nice. And I got attacked by this mape when I was coming through Birchwoods, and I happened to be pretty hungry, so I took the fight. He realized pretty early on in the fight that he was in over his head and started trying to run away. The Meg has a pretty simple kit, just a basic bite that does venom and a heavy bite that does more damage, and then it has a call that makes you do more venom damage. And that's it. So just got 2 bites and a call. Very easy to use, beginner friendly, stealthy, you can hide easy with it, it's fast. You can jump with it. It's a very good swimmer, so it's extremely survivable dinosaur in Path of Titans. It's my son Little Whiskey's favorite dinosaur to play, and so I love also playing it from time to time. I always love to hop on Rupert from time to time and get some ambushes in. I was ambushing here in Birchwoods, and I saw this Giga hiding in the weeds. It's a DB Giga. It's a full tier above the PT Rex. It's got flesh graze that heals it. It has a headbutt that gives it armor and knocks you back. It has a really good knockback tail, and it has a stomp that does high damage. Now I bone broke him at the outset, so he couldn't use his stomp in the beginning, but he is doing a smart move trying to headbutt me and keep me back in the water here. But the PT Rex does a lot of damage too, so that was a good ambush. And I played a little bit of Apato, and this is my Apato here, Brutus. I love to play Apato on the Dynasty server. The Apato's got vanilla stats, so if you know anything about the Apato, it's very strong. A lot of the servers nerf it a little bit because of how strong it is, but I love it with vanilla stats. It's always been one of my favorite dinosaurs ever since I was a little kid. I love the Apatosaurus. They used to call it a Brontosaurus. And I remember reading about it in some books when I was really, really little, and was fascinated by it. That, the T-Rex, and the Allo, of course, when I was a really little kid. So I do love playing the Apato from time to time, and this Rex got hungry and wanted to try to hunt me. One of the tricks to the Apato is that its tail is its best weapon. Just spam the regular tail attack, the headbutt, and then the head slam from time to time. That's pretty much all you need to do on an Apato. This guy realized pretty quickly that he was not going to kill me. I was doing way too much damage to him, and Rexes are not built for hunting sauropods. So a lot of people don't know that, and they make the mistake of trying, and they find out pretty quickly. And you saw I was pretty full, near full health even at the end of that, and he was almost dead. Gigas are much better at fighting Apatos. That's the true threat, Gigas and Tyranno Titans. And these two Gigas, they lingered around and they watched us fight a Spino and two Sugos. And I think they believed we were a lot lower health than we were, but we didn't start this off at full health. I personally think that's a really, really pathetic move and tactic to pull on somebody, but it is allowed in the Dynasty server for whatever reason. I guess because it is realistic slightly, but I don't know. It's still a game, and there's still got to be some, I think consideration given to the fact that somebody can have a fight of their life and survive with 1 HP and should have the right to go and heal up before they have to fight again. But, you get these types of players that they're probably not really good, maybe they're not confident in fighting. They're very highly focused on realism and don't really practice PvP all that much, so they probably have a frustrating time fighting, and so they're gonna, pick off the weaklings. Just like you get in real life, a lot of people like to bully and pick off weaklings, and you definitely get that in this game too. And unfortunately, Dynasty has a rule that caters to that, and that's what these Gigas were trying to do to us here in this clip. So it's always a really nice feeling when you beat those types of players. These Giga players, they didn't think that what I was doing right here was within the rules. They came and attacked us, and so I'm now fighting back and I'm protecting my partner here. And afterwards, they tried to say that that was not within the profile. And I read through the profile, and it definitely says you can defend yourself, and the only time you have to let the carnivore run off is when it forecalls. And these guys gave no forecall at all until the very end, and when they did, we did respect that. But when we're fighting, when they're attacking us and they're hunting us, we can fight back. They just want an easy fight. They think we should just stand here and take damage and never chase them and fight them back. But if you're in my line of sight and I know you're still trying to hunt me, you're damn right I'm going to chase you down and try to kill you. But we did follow the rules. When they forecalled, we let them go. That they got their nose broke, that they couldn't win the fight. So of course, one of the annoying things on the Dynasty server that I'm dealing with is these players always ask you for your name at the end and then accuse you of some silly rule break that they make up. Like this Giga was saying that I wasn't allowed to chase them like I was doing. Well, it doesn't say you can't do that in the profile, so they were just making stuff up to give some kind of silly excuse of why they lost the fight. Couldn't be just GG's and they move on. Of course, it's always got to be some, sore loser excuse. But anyway, that's the way it goes. That's human nature, and some people don't have integrity and aren't good sports about the whole situation, and that's unfortunate, but it does happen, and we have to deal with it. So I do, and I'm putting up with it, and so far I've been able to still have a lot of fun on the Dynasty server from time to time. So anyway, that was my experience last week in Path of Titans, and I will have another episode coming up next week. So until then, I hope to see you out there in Gondola. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.